Just mixing up a potting mix. As you can probably hear by the rain, I mean, I don't know if this video is even going to be any good, but it is very wet. I had planned to do quite a lot today in the actual garden, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It is torrential out there, and made myself up a potting mix because I'm going to sow some seeds and pot on a few things while I'm in the. It's kind of calming being in here and hearing the rain hitting the roof while I'm nice and dry, still touching soil and sowing some seeds. Got my seed box out. There's actually a few flowers and things that I want to get sown today. There's a few bits in here that I want to pot on. Ooh, bit of an exciting development. I've managed to run a power cable down to the shed here, and I've got a heat mat and an oil heater that should just keep the frosts off and stuff, and means that I don't have to have masses of plants in my house. I've got quite a lot going over there. I've got some tomatoes and some cucumbers and all sorts, a few marigolds, my onions, my leeks, everything, so it should be good. I'm really sorry about the sound. It's really not nice out there. Right, so I've got my potting mix, made this just now. These plants that I'm putting into here will be in the pots, either going to stay in there until they need to go out in May. And the same with the ones I've sown, I'm going to leave them in the pots till May. So I've made a fairly rich mix. I used a bit of the Silver Grow, which isn't particularly high in nutrient, but great for texture. You can see it's nice and fluffy. I used some of the Jack's Magic, which is also pretty good on the texture, but a bit higher in nutrient. And then I've put some vermiculite and some bloodfish and bone in there. So I've got a nice bucket of seed mix ready to go. I'm getting a bit frustrated. I'm getting a bit frustrated with the weather now. I mean, it's great for the wildlife. They're going to have plenty of water, and the outside plants, the ground is just completely, not the door open, but the ground is just completely saturated. And I've got beds to move and all sorts. Beds to build, beds to move. So hopefully March is a little bit better for us. Right, I'm going to have a look through the seed box. I don't actually know what I'm going to sow today. Got a few of these seed packets that were kindly donated by my partner's grandma, Doris. Thank you for those. She's given me a few other things as well, which can be really helpful in the weeks to come. She's given me 2 quite large sleepers, which I'm going to convert into a bed. And so she's got a lot of trees around her garden. So there was lots of leaf fall. So she's kept all the leaves for me, which is fantastic, because it means I can use them to fill up the new beds a little bit, just at the bottom, and I can use them for my browns during the summer period where it's really hard to get them. I've got 2 compost bins at the moment. I'm getting a third. So the smaller of the 3, I'm just going to fill with the leaves and then fork some in as I go into the others, as I go putting the greens in and the grasses and everything else. So I should get some pretty nice compost out of it. So thank you, Doris. So I'm going to have a little look through the seed box and see if I get any inspiration for stuff to sow today. I've got the flower seeds there, which I'll have a look for in a minute and check the sowing dates and stuff on them. They've already been done. Got some violas. They're February to July. It's late February now, so sow a few of those. Some sweet rocket, same, February. February's the earliest, so late February coming into March. All right, so it's quite flower heavy at the minute because I've focused a lot on the vegetables, and I do want to get tons and tons of flowers into the garden this year, and obviously share with family and friends. So family and friends that you're watching, let me know if you see any of these that I'm sowing today that you might want, and I'll make sure that I keep some for you. This is like a mixed packet that I got from Poundland, actually. And weirdly, I've used some of these vegetable seeds already. They're actually decent. I thought they would just be complete rubbish because they're from Poundland and you get, what, 6 different varieties in there? But weirdly, the tomato seeds that I got from there, so I've got the tiger stripes over there, are the strongest plants so far, so go figure. There's a couple of the tomato plants that are inside the house still that I think I'm going to need to re-sow. I've got the indigo pear drops and the indigo rose, and for some reason both of those have really struggled. They're still really small, and they're still really small, and they're quite deformed. So I don't know if it's maybe I've been a bit early for them, or if they've got different needs. If you do know anything about that, I don't know if it's something to do with the indigo varieties. if you do know anything about that, can you just ping it in the comments? Because I'd really like to know if there is a reason that they're struggling so much. In this pack, it's just going to be violas again, but some different ones. So let's get those out. I hope I was looking at the right packet, trying to find these. What have they called them on here? The labelling's not overly good on these, so it's hard to figure out what's what. The violas are called the Swiss Giant. So that'll be those. These are all hanging basket varieties. I could have just read the packet. These are all hanging basket varieties, so they're all trailing and long ones. I'm going to wait on those because I want to speak to Monica and see what she wants to do as far as hanging baskets or plants spilling over the edge. We've got some nice boxes out there spilling over the edge of those. So I'm not going to go too mad on those today. So that will do for now. I mean, that's already quite a lot. I was looking at doing some little gem lettuces, but they do say March onwards, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer on those. I did my big order on Premier Seeds, and they sent me this many. Imagine how many, well, it says it in milligrams, but imagine how many lettuces are there, and I've already got these, so got some Nero. I'm not going to bother with that. I've still got loads of that from the winter lot. I'm going to do some spinach. Let's get some spinach going. Looking through this box is making me realise how much I have ahead of me to do. It's all fun and games. We enjoy doing it. I mean, sowing seeds, I do enjoy. Growing plants, I enjoy even more. So I have to sow the seeds to grow the plants. Sweet corn, I bought some extra early sweet corn. However, I've been looking up since, and apparently badgers love it, and so do rats. And we could have a problem with both potentially because my property backs onto the woods. So I don't know if I'm going to bother with that, unfortunately. Might try and grow a few. Maybe I can keep them in here or in the corner of the polytunnel when I built that. But we'll see. I don't really want them coming in. I really want the badgers coming in. Won't be too sad if I don't get to grow it. Maybe, depending on how the channel goes, I'll do a little competition shortly in a couple of videos. And the winner will get some extra early Northern F1 sweet corn. How about that? Some Brussels sprouts. Might say some Brussels sprouts. Why not? The Brussels sprout variety I've got is the Brussels sprouts Trafalgar F1. I got those from Premier Seeds as well. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a fan of Premier Seeds. Or however, I live in the Chilterns, so I'm going to have a look at Chiltern seeds. If anybody's got any experience with Chiltern seeds, can you let me know in the comment section if you've used them and how you got on with them? Premier Seeds tend to be pretty reliable, but I'd rather support the local business if that's an option for me. Plus, their plants will be more acclimatized to my area, so let me know what Chiltern Seeds is like. I hear Charles Dowden talking about them sometimes, and he seems to be pretty fond of them, so that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it, surely, if a man such as Charles Dowding? A man such as Charles Dowding likes them. I think that's going to be it as far as vegetables. I'm just going to get some Brussels sprouts and some spinach going and lots of flowers. So if you're here for vegetables, you can have a look at what I've got going already, and you can see that. I'm going to be doing a little bit of potting on anyway. So you are going to see some vegetables, don't worry. I was really grateful to you guys for the comments in the last video. I asked, what is it that you guys are excited for this year? And I did get a couple of people say what they were excited for, and I'm excited for you. Laura over at the Tiny Garden is excited to be growing some pumpkins and some big lettuces. She's got a great channel, bigger than mine, obviously. My channel's tiny. She's got a great channel, which I recently started watching, and she has recently got an allotment. So she is going to have absolutely loads going on over this next year. I'll link her channel in the video, and you can go and check her out. She's got a really nice way of filming, which I really enjoy. Doesn't get boring the way she films. You'll see what I mean when you see her channel, but she's got a really nice way of filming, which I really do enjoy. It's different from other people's. It's less vloggy. Well, it is vloggy, but it's laid out in quite a professional way. Anyway, she's excited to grow pumpkins and large lettuces. I'm excited to see it too. So thank you for sharing in that last video. I'll continue that on. So if anybody watching this video has got anything that they're particularly excited for this year, or if you've got a YouTube channel, I'm happy for you to comment down below and mention that you've got a YouTube channel, and I'll check it out. You know, I'm really interested in the gardening, and I've got a few people that I watch, but obviously they can only upload once or twice a week, so I do run out of viewing quite quickly. So if you've got a channel, let me know in the comments and tell me what you're excited to do this year. I'm very excited for my polytunnel, and I'm just in despair about this weather because I really want to get going on it. Also, one of the other comments I got was about my trousers always falling down, and I'm pleased to let you know that I'm now the proud owner of a belt. So you won't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, today I've got tracksuit bottoms on anyway, so it doesn't matter. But in general, I'm not going to be pulling my trousers up all the time because I have got a belt. So thank you for your comment, Loki. I have a belt, and I'm sure you were very pleased to not have to watch me pulling up my trousers all the time. Right, I've got my 2 seed trays ready to go. I'm just going to run inside and get a pen. And just like that, I have a pen. So I think I'm going to start by sowing those violas. I'm going to do a whole tray of violas. So I'm going to do a whole tray of violas. I don't know if I'm going to have enough seeds to do a whole tray, but we'll see. I've forgotten what they called these now. I call them Swiss violas because they're Swiss something. These are only teeny tiny seeds, so I don't think they need an awful lot of covering, which is fine because I'm pretty bad with with seed depths and stuff anyway. So who knows? Could be the right thing, could not be. I'm not really a flower guy, but wanted to get loads going this year so we can have flowers all around the garden and not have to keep buying them. In true British fashion, what's the weather like in the rest of the world? Let me know what your weather's like this time of year. British people famously like talking about the weather. If you ever sit in a taxi, what do you say? Are you busy? How's the weather been? Well, not so much how the weather's been. Oh, this weather's nice. Oh, this weather's too hot. For some reason, we just like talking about the weather in this country. That's the first boiler's done. Put a little bit of soil on those. Only a tiny bit, I think. Yeah, so what's the weather like where you are? Genuinely interested to know, because this isn't fun. I am in Buckinghamshire in the Chiltern Hills, and it's just been really wet for about 12 months. Last summer was horrendous. We had a really, really hot June, and then boom, rain constantly. It just wasn't fun. A lot of the plants struggled. I was growing some pumpkins and they were doing fantastically. And then after that, it held on to 2 pumpkins. I had 2 plants and they got a pumpkin each off them. So really not ideal. So I'm hoping for a slightly better summer. I've got some pumpkin seeds on the way. I'm going to grow some smaller ones this year. I'm going to grow some Jack B. Littles and some Casperitas, which are like a small white one. And then Jack B. Littles are like the jack-o'-lanterns, just small. They're apparently quite nice to eat as well, which is good because the main function of them to eat them, not just make jack-o'-lanterns. But I have got my jack-o'-lantern seed that I saved from last year, so hopefully I'll get at least a plant of that and potentially get more than 2 pumpkins, which would be beautiful. So that's the Swiss violas done, and I'm going to do some Johnny Jump Up violas, like a nice purple and yellow one. Lello, what, my 5? Purple and yellow one. Speaking of kids talking, my little boy is learning so many words now. It's really nice to see. But I shouldn't find it frustrating, but I do. He knows how to say Thomas, as in like Thomas the Tank Engine, but for some reason he calls him Budgeons. Ruben, if you're watching, stop calling it Budgeons. His name is Thomas. It's all right. He's 2. He wants to call him, but you call him Budgeons, mate. Don't listen to me. 1/4 inch deep, apparently they're supposed to be. So maybe I'll chuck a little bit more compost on there. Bear with me, I'm still learning. Come on. Mr. Fothergill's average 75 seeds. That, I'm not going to count them, but that is not 75 seeds. Nowhere near. Where's the rest of my seeds, Mr. Fothergill? I think these I'm just going to do in a row of 3. There's really not many there. Thompson's and Morgan's Laurenita Pink Star. Very pretty little flower there. So I'm going to sow some of them, I think. Got 2 more rows in this tray, so might as well see if I can spread these over those 2 rows. Wow, these are some very, very tiny seeds. I was not expecting that. Maybe a row. I imagine these you just kind of sprinkle on the surface. So on the surface. Look how tiny those seeds are. These are to be sown on the surface, so just going to kind of tap some in. So much for these taking up 2 rows. I barely get them out of the packet. I don't even know how evenly these are in there. Something might come up. I'll sprinkle them here. Something might come up, might not. What shall I put in that final row of this tray? Another surface one. This is a Swan River Daisy mix. Nice sort of pinks and whites and yellows. So I think I'm going to do those in this last one. I mean, they're so difficult to sprinkle. I wish I'd done those in a full tray because might get a bit of crossover there, but they're all going in the ground. These ones are a little bit easier to see because they're a different colour to the compost. Those other ones were black, so they just immediately disappeared. But I can see that I've got an okay spread of them there, and they haven't gone into there, so that is good. The compost is quite moist already because it was outside, but I will give them a light water with a spray at the end, just to get them going. I don't want to dislodge the tiny seeds too much, so yeah, I'll do that. I just wanted this video to be a nice little laid back one, really. I'm just having a nice relaxing day, sowing a few seeds while the rain beats down on the little bus shelter. Why did I say bus shelter like that? Bus shelter. The bus shelter. Next, I've got some Royal Bride Snapdragons. I'm going to call them Snapdragons because how do you say that word? In the comment section, tell me, how do you say it? I'm not going to try until I know for sure. But Royal Bride Snapdragons, nice little white flowers. This one's another 1/4 inch deep sown one, so I'll just sprinkle some soil over these. Right, last one for the flowers, and that is the Sweet Rocket mix. Nice little pink and white flowers, quite tall plants. How many's supposed to be in here, Mr. Fothergill? 250 seeds. Well, let's see about that. Yeah, it looks more like they could be. I'll let you off this time. I think I'm just going to sow these thinishly in here, and instead of transplanting them, I'm just going to thin them out and have like one in a pot, because I think 9's enough. Okay, so that's all the flowers done for now. I'll give these a water in a minute. I'm going to keep all the seed packets, even though I used most of these, well, all of them, except for the Sweet Rocket. I used all of them, but I'm going to keep hold of the seed packets so I can learn how to best care for them, and also have the pictures to remind myself what they look like and the sizes and stuff like that, so ahead of time I can work out where they're going to go in the garden. I'll put these to one side and then I'll give them water in a bit. I think I might take them in the house. Right, last but not least, what a lot of you are probably watching for, some vegetables. So I've got my Brussels sprouts, 45 seeds in this packet. I only want about 2 plants, but I'm going to sow a tray and see how they get on. Yeah, I'll sow a tray and see how I get on. I mean, people who are watching, family, friends, if you want some Brussels sprout plants, there might be a few going spare soon. Let me know. So that's the Brussels sprouts sown. I've got the Trafalgar F1 from Premier Seeds. Wrote the wrong year then. My audio cut out right towards the end of that video, but you didn't really miss anything. I was just putting some spinach in the ground. I'm going to call it a day now. I just wanted to have a nice relaxing sort of potter around, potting and pottering in the garden. So that's me done for the day. I'm going to go back in the house now and see my little boy. He's just got back from the library where I'm going to go find out what book he got. I will see you guys when I see you guys, hopefully when the weather is much nicer. Thank you for watching my video and take care.